Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to talk about breaking away, why I struggle to leave my parents' nest. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that subject for a long time, and my father recently passed away just a few months ago in South Korea. And anyways, now I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about why I'm here in Bangkok, Thailand. Um, I'm I was here last year for about 4 months and I fell in love with the country. You know, um, but I had to go back to Korea after that's, I had to go back to Korea and stay with my parents because after my divorce last year, um, I was kind of wanting to start my life over again, and just kind of um, be closer with my parents. And my father was, pretty sick at the time. Um, he, anyways, so I went to Korea for about 8 months, and now I'm back in Thailand. During those 8 months while I was in Korea, my father passed away, and uh, that's kind of where this has led me to this topic of leaving your parents' nest. When is it, when do you really leave your parents' nest? You know, sometimes I feel like I never truly left home, the home that I was raised in. Um, and I feel like was, uh, I haven't learned how to stand on my own. Um, After losing my dad, especially, and um, my dad's death devastated me very much, and it forced me to realize something deeper, that that I really never broke away from my parents, and now I'm truly learning what that really means. And you know, like I said, I'm divorced, and um, very recently, about a year and a half, divorced, and these I think those events leading up to it, it 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 kind of has a little bit of connection with today's topic. And um, you know, I'm left with the core question. Why is it so hard for some of us to leave our father and mother and fully live our own lives? You know, I never really asked myself that question until my father passed away. And, growing up, I was really close to my father and mother. I think I was closer to my father because he was he, um, I feel like I gave my mom a harder time when I was growing up, because she tried to, take care of me, and she, and I was just a brat, and she had a hard time with that. Uh, and I feel like my mother scolded me a lot more than my dad. And my dad was he's a very loving and kind person, and and I miss him very, very dearly. And um, you know, and I've over the years, while I was growing up, um, I was very I leaned on my parents for security, for financial, emotional security, as well as then the biggest thing was housing security. It felt good. I mean, it was good to save money on housing by living with them. And, of course, we got on each other's nerves sometimes. Like my parents would get on my nerves, and, but, that's normal with every, between child and parent. So, um, I feel like I've depended on my parents a little too much growing up. Um, and, you know, my parents are great parents. And maybe that's could be a good thing, or it could be a bad thing too, or both. In a bad way, they're if they nurture me too much and give me everything I want. I mean, my parents weren't rich. I mean, they didn't give me all the material things, but as far as love, they gave me a lot of love. Yeah. So, um, so I think that for some people that can um, kind of be challenging to go out and make your own life. Um, so, anyways, my father's death really compounded these feelings of being lost and incomplete as an adult. So, um, it's like I never really fully stepped into adulthood because I always knew that they would be there, the safety net of my parents. It's like I always knew they would help me out, and I think they did. They helped me a lot, and it's like I feel like I um, take it, and I probably did take advantage of them. Um, but the price for that, the price that I'm paying for that is biblical. Um, you know, I'm over here in Thailand. Um, I don't know. You could say I'm just over here in Thailand with it's a sizable amount of money to just kind of figure things out for myself. Um, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. And I'm eventually gonna leave here and maybe go to Korea and stay there for a while, and then if anything, I will probably go back to the US and try to sort things out there. But you know, I'm I- I'm kind of homeless right now, as in I don't have a permanent residence. I'm just in a condo in Thailand, that I'm renting, and I'm actually going to be staying over a friend's house uh, for a while after I'm out of here, and um, and figure things out, figure where I'm going to go next. And anyways, and talking about biblical, about the Bible verse. If you're a Christian or you've read the Bible, um, you probably heard of this. Um, the biblical perspective on the breaking away from your parents. Genesis 2 verses 24, I guess, states that therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So the Bible basically tells us that we need to, when it's time, we need to break away from our parents. I mean, not to say not to love them, but it's breaking away like you're not living with them. Anyways, for some reason, that video, my camera just kind of flaked out a little bit on me just now. So sorry about that. I guess what where I left off, on the biblical perspective of leaving your father and mother and doing your own life. Um, it doesn't mean abandoning your parents emotionally, but becoming independent, physically, financially, and emotionally. And I feel like by not following this path set for you in the Bible, um, that it affected my sense of identity. And so, there were some cultural and cultural factors involved. Me being an Asian American. I feel like I grew up as a very confused child. There were a lot of psychological factors too, such as like fear of failure or fear of loneliness, um, and just comfort in the familiar. And the when you have that much, when you have I don't know if I should say too much, emotional bond with your parents, it's like, you feel guilty if you just leave them alone and forget them. And when you're not living your own life, you you can really end up feeling unworthy, and when you're too dependent, you're really incapable of doing life solo. So um, yeah, yeah. So it's about dependence. Depending too much on your parents, you don't learn to do life by yourself. Accomplish your own goals. Um, so in a sense, I feel like I lost my sense of identity in a way by by not breaking away from my parents. if you're still watching, thank you, and I appreciate you watching. It means a heck of a lot to me, and I hope to grow this channel soon. I want to bring you more of these deep, um, just true to the heart chats with you. I want to bring you these content, and I'll talk about more of these subjects, my own personal experience, and I just want to make this a heartfelt discussion, and that's what I hope to do with this channel. So I hope you can comment, like, and subscribe. Um, so please tell me what you would like to hear from me. And if you watched this far, I mean, you've probably you can probably tell my personality a little bit. So, and if you can relate to it, if you can relate to to what I talk about, please leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel and keep me going. And I challenge you to do that. Let's challenge each other to be our very best every day. So with that said, I'm going to continue with talking about the cost of not breaking away. There's that sense of lost identity, delayed maturity in life skills. Yeah, it totally delayed, maturing in money, relationships, just managing my own money, not depending on anyone for money or anything related to money, and that includes housing. So, I know that in today's economy, it's hard to make a living by yourself and living by yourself, but it can be done. Um, I You just have to be true to yourself. You know, just stop making excuses, I guess. Stop procrastinating. I know it's easier said than done, but man, it will just affect your life. It's kind of like if you don't suffer in the start, you won't get to later in life. You'll struggle. You'll struggle later in life. I heard somebody tell me that, and I think it's true. Those who struggle and suffer early in life tend to be the hardest working and smarter too, and they can they can they have a better chance of success. But if you're lazy and if you're kind of making excuses early in life and not working hard, eventually it's going to creep up and catch up to you. So, yeah, it affects your self confidence and your decision making. I've really struggled with decision making. It's like even now, I feel like, do I stay in Thailand? Do I try to find a job here in Thailand, or should I go to Korea and work there? or should I go back home to the United States? And with the state of the economy in the U.S., frankly, I'm a little terrified to go back. Um, and I struggle with that decision because I've lived in the U.S. practically all my life, and that is my home. I realized that. I realized I wanted to escape and escape, go, get out of the U.S. and go to the country where I was born, South Korea, and just kind of try to find a life there. But after living there for 8 to 9 months this year, I am not cut out for some of the stuff that the lifestyle. I mean, the lifestyle in Korea, or just Asia in general. You know, I mean, I speak Korean pretty fluently, and South Korea was a good place for me to stay because I knew the language. But over here in Thailand, um, there's some there is some difficulty in with the language. It's a challenge if you don't know the language. But thanks to Google Translator, that's you know that made all this possible. That makes it possible for you to communicate, and I don't know what I would do without it. But so I'm just in the middle of I'm stuck with this decision making about what I'm going to do with my life, and so I feel like I'm stuck, just a unfinished adult, unfinished as an adult. Um, so I'm really having a tough time grieving right now for my father because of this intertwined identity with my parents. But I gotta find a path. I gotta find a path forward. I have to acknowledge this grief that I have and think of the necessary steps that I need to take to get on with my life. Whether that's seeking therapy or counseling, doing performing small acts of independence to regain my self-confidence. Just living alone in the short term, I think it's just helping me out a lot right now. I was living with my mother in South Korea after my father passed away, and this is kind of my first taste of freedom from the past 9 months of South Korea. Anyways, I think it's important to find a mentor or even support groups to help with your mental health. And yeah, and just learning about God's view on identity and independence and family, I think would help a lot of people. I mean, even if you're not Christian. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a Christian. I grew up in a Christian family. I probably identified with being Christian in the past, but I don't go to church now. I don't really have. Uh, I think I believe in God. Um, I would like to believe in God, and I hope that I'm going to uh, find a deep meaning in finding God. So, anyways, but that was just my spiritual reflection, I guess. So, um, honestly, I'm trying to just figure this out, and I'm scared. I'm scared to death right now, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. At least I'm trying to be hopeful. So let me ask you guys. So I mean, how do you relate? How can you do you relate to what I'm talking about? Do you feel like you've really never left home? Are you kind of in my shoes too, in that regards? Um, I don't know whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or even 50s. It's it's kind of a, you know, there's still time to grow into the person that you were meant to be. I feel that I'm learning about myself more now than I ever did in my whole life. So, you know, so let me ask you, have you struggled to break away from your parents? How did you start living your own life? Did you ever wonder about that? How did you start your living your own life? I mean, truly and honestly, because I feel like I haven't really done that um, until now. I feel like this is like the beginning of my life. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Um, I'm gonna do some more videos on this, so please like and subscribe and share and comment and share it with your friends. Share this channel with your friends, and um, this was a very honest, deep, um, nice fireside chat with you. So, anyways, I like to say, let's keep growing together. Let's keep growing together. That might. What do you guys think of that um, video? Like a video intro or outro? Let me know. All right. Well, thank you for watching this far, and I will see you in the next one.